everybody? This is your main man, AJ Orsini, and I am your host of Orsini's Uncensored Mind, and that's the show where I dig into this old brain here, this old cerebellum, and pull out the most unadulterated, uncensored thought. I'm just about whatever's rolling around in here, man. We're talking about TV shows, music, comic books, games, movies, all forms of entertainment, and of course my primary field of expertise, professional wrestling. If you're down for all that, down for interviews with up-and-coming talent, down for roundtable discussions, down for all that stuff, head over to ajoum.podbean.com every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Got a problem with Podbean? No problem with me. You can check me out on all kinds of platforms: iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Google Play Music, TuneIn Radio app, Listen Notes, Castbox.fm, and now, starting right now, you can catch me on iHeartRadio. 15 countries, thousands of downloads. Join the squad of vote today. Warning: the following episode of Orsini's Uncensored Mind contains explicit language and adult content. The thoughts and opinions stated on the show are reflective of AJ Orsini and his guests exclusively. But seriously, guys, the show's called Uncensored. If you got a problem with bad language, I really don't give a shit.
Welcome to Orsini's Uncensored Mind, and now your host, AJ Orsini.
Hello, Orsini fans. This is Mrs. O of Orsini's Uncensored Mind. After hearing Mr. Orsini babble on for 1 year, I thought we would set this year off right with a ladies' night. Tonight, we are discussing WWE's first ever all-women pay-per-view as they present WWE Evolution. You can catch it this Sunday on the WWE Network. But tonight, we celebrate this historic event by having our first ever all-women round table. And where would a queen be without her king? Mr. Orsini will be in the house producing and directing the shit out of this show, working mainly behind the scenes. But you know him, he just can't keep quiet. You know he's going to say something on the sidelines. But he's still going to create an awesome weekly podcast for the Squad of O. And they say that behind every great man is a great woman. And Mr. Orsini wouldn't let just anyone touch his microphones. So you ladies don't get any ideas out there, okay? However, for this special night, we have hand-selected an all-women panel who have been involved in the wrestling business and taking on many different roles and can provide us with insights from different perspectives. They will share their stories and their thoughts on the WWE Evolution pay-per-view and the evolution of women in wrestling. My first guest of the night will be returning to the show. She is still Capital Wrestling Women's Champion. The answer to your prayers, Ariela Nyx. Welcome back.
Thank you guys for having me once again.
And now making her debut on the show, she is the promoter and co-owner of Pro Wrestling Academy in Connecticut, Miss Cara Scarfo. Welcome to the show, Cara.
Hello, thanks for having me.
So on our previous episodes, we discussed...
Wait, I'm here.
Yeah, when we want you to.
Okay. Fair
Okay.
enough.
But on the previous episode...
That's how this is going to go tonight.
That is how it's going to go because it's women's first. You can take a back seat for once.
Okay.
Okay? So on the previous episodes, we discussed Ariela's history, and how she came from the famed House of Glory Wrestling School. But now let's get some background information on Cara. So, Cara, how did you get your start in the business?
I started helping out around 2002 in the Connecticut indie scene. I just had always loved wrestling, and I started to go to indie shows back then, and I realized I wanted to be involved in it. So I started to friend the promoters, and I would do anything. I would hand out flyers, I would help at shows, which then led to me helping out with Jason Knight's school, Acid Pro Wrestling, which was in Waterbury, Connecticut. And I would help out at all the shows. I would go to his school and watch what was going on there, and that's when I eventually met who would be my co-owner in Peter Schmicke, who was Joseph von Schmidt. Well, way back in the day, he was Pat Gunner, but I eventually met him, and then things just evolved with me and him. We actually were married for quite a while, still very good friends, still co-owners of the school and the promotion together. And I want to say it was around 2003, 2004, we started PWA. And then it just took off from there. PWA has a very long history because it started off as Pro Wrestling Alliance, and Pete was a co-owner with some other guy named John too, and I was kind of like just the background helper at that point. And then it evolved, took a few years off, and then it kind of came back with Pete starting the school in New Haven and the promotion, and just evolved from there.
Awesome, awesome.
Long history. Kara, hi.
Hi.
I just got the permission to speak. So
You got the Iggy.
I got the Iggy. First of all, Ariela, thanks for coming back. Kara, so happy that you're here.
So I'm happy to be here.
And I'm excited to be here as well and discussing women's evolution stuff. And I'm a big fan of the PWA. You know, I got history with PWA. I go back a long ways with the company. I've mentioned the company here on the podcast a few times. The only company to give me an award for my job. So I'm extra happy about that. Still hanging in the room back there. This is going to be a great show. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say on the topic. So go ahead, host, take it away.
All right, so tonight we will be discussing the revolution or evolution of women's wrestling, as well as discussing the card for evolution and our thoughts on the matchup. So now let's begin with your experiences with women's wrestling as a fan. You know, was there a match or a particular female performer that caught your eye before you became involved in the business yourselves?
When I was talking about having started with helping out with Acid Pro Wrestling, that's where Mercedes Martinez and Velvet Sky came out of. So I remember them from when they first basically got in the ring training. I remember Mercedes' first week there, and how hard she was pushed. I mean, she was in a show within I think 2-3 weeks of her training. There was really no women wrestling in Connecticut at that point, and they kind of got in and just. They pushed the heck out of those two. And Velvet started out as more as just a valet at that point. Her wrestling, didn't evolve for quite a ways down the line at that point. So that's my first experience with, I would say, actual firsthand women's wrestling.
To think she might go down as one of the best indie wrestlers. She's in the conversation, definitely all time. Ariel?
First experience when you asked the question, the first thing that popped into my head was before I had started training a couple of years ago. I was at a FWE show in Brooklyn, and this was the first time I got to see Candice LeRae wrestle live. And it was her in a 10-person match. She was the only woman, and she kicked everybody's ass. And I was like, I love this girl. I had met Joey. I know she was teaming with Joey a lot back then, and I had met Joey a few times as a fan, but it was the first time getting to meet her, and I'm like, she's so awesome. I'm like,
the world's cutest tag team.
Yeah, they were adorable. I'm so happy for her.
I think before Anthony really introduced me to wrestling, I remember I was maybe 13, flipping through the channels because I'm a channel surfer, and stopping momentarily and seeing Stephanie McMahon tied up to a cross, and The Undertaker coming out and them shooting promos and her screaming her head off, no. And I'm just like, oh, she's playing a victim.
She's playing a role.
Okay, all right, on to the next thing. And I just didn't take, I didn't give it two thoughts after that. I was like, oh, she's playing the typical victim. Let me move on. Knight in shining armor, or probably a villain's coming by. I didn't know wrestling at that time. That was just a one shot. But after I met Orsini, I think what really got into my head was him always saying, okay, piss break. And I'm like, why does this have to be the piss break? And then I'm watching and I'm like, oh, that's why it's the piss break. Oh, bendito. I'm like, why? And because they were just pretty faces at the time. So, I mean, when I got in it, they were just the pretty faces. And then eventually I liked that they were actually getting trained more, and I like seeing more talent out there. And I'm not the one that likes all the sexy guys or likes wrestlers because of their looks. That's not me. I base it on talent. So I like that they have a good talent pool of women. I respect the women more.
You're talking
didn't
about
back
currently?
then.
The
Yeah,
current
like
women?
currently, I respect the women.
Because I don't piss break the women now. For those of you wondering out there,
He
right
does.
now,
No, I'm
'cause,
just kidding.
yeah, at actual shows, right? Ariela see me leave the commentating table. Fuck this. This match calls itself. No, for the record, I was piss breaking during the Divas era. We'll touch on that a little later on in the show. Like, go ahead.
Yeah. So, but then that leads into the next question: is that now that you're in the business, what is your opinion on women's wrestling? You know what I mean? Do you feel like it's changed for the better, for the worse? I mean, now do you see better performers? Do you not see better performers? Do you think they have a new image? Like, what is now your thoughts on women in wrestling?
I think it's definitely grown a lot. Even just a few years that like I've been involved with it. Most shows you're lucky if you had, like, it used to be you're lucky if you had one women's match, but there's now a lot of promotions where I've seen some of them are splitting the card where it's like 4 or 5 women's matches, some men. It depends on the promotion. Some of them are still just 1 or 2 matches depending, but I think it's grown so much, and the women have made such a name for themselves. Intergender wrestling has grown so much. Like, it's become believable that women can wrestle men and have a great match and just keep up with the guys. So I think it's grown a lot personally.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's grown a lot too. I think that there's almost an expectation that the women have to step up their game because they see it on TV now, and they see the way that it's being pushed so much there too. I would say up until say maybe even 5 years ago on the indies, there was still points where I would go to shows and the women's match I could care less about. But now I want to watch. Now I want to see what is she going to do? What is, how is she going to, because I want to see those women be as that match equally as good as the men's match. I want to see that. I want to see that for them. So, and I want to say the past like 2 years at least of going to like solid indie shows, 3 years maybe, it has. Like it's always a match that now I want to see that I will make sure I don't go to the bathroom break on, even on indie shows. So.
Well, that's good. As the guy at the table, I will go ahead and admit that I was pretty much bred to not give a shit about women's wrestling. And when you're a wrestling fan in the 80s and 90s, women's wrestling is not something that's really considered much of a priority. So when you start, my first experience with it was Alundra Blaze. Actually, was like my first. Like Moolah was big in the 80s, but I wasn't really watching 80s WWF at that time. I was an NWA guy, so I was watching the Baby Dolls of the world do their thing over on the other channel. But Alundra Blaze was huge for me because those matches with Bull Nakano, even though there were like 80,000 of them, they were all still very entertaining, and I thought they were great. But I still didn't consider it women's wrestling just yet. Like there were so many generations that took place that everything got better. Like you said, the talent, and you said the work, and I think the creativity is what makes women's wrestling so great right now because it's not just punch, kick, hair pull, hip toss, drops on the top rope. Now it's power bombs and hurricane runners from the top rope, and it's basically all the same stuff that all the guys are doing. It's almost like saying, do I respect the women's division, or is the women's division making me respect the women's division? It's a completely different vibe now as opposed to before it was, all right, give the girls a shot. Now it's women are doing just as good as, not even better than the guys. I told you the story the other day of the ladder match. When they had the first women's ladder match, the guys didn't go over the match because a lot of them had been in this match 1,000 times, so they probably already knew their spots. Yeah. The girls didn't, so they went in and they did all the stuff that were, all the different ideas. Well, can this work? And they were trying all this stuff out. Yeah. And I remember hearing the story of Seth Rollins, who wasn't in the ladder match, leaning over to the guys going, y'all might want to go in there and rehearse your stuff, because if the girls pull this off, they're going to make you guys look really silly because they're doing some incredible shit. Mm-hmm. And for top tier guys like that in the biggest company in the world to look at what they're doing and saying, oh, shit, that's pretty fucking good. That's awesome. That to me is the ultimate tip to the cap.
My opinion is that I like the fact that women now are not just the arm candy and just the valets and walking with pretty, the guy, right? And just smiling and waving mantra. And that's it primarily, or maybe to hold the ropes open for them while they entered into the ropes. Like now, even on the indie scene, like maybe women might start out as being managers, and then they eventually go into being wrestlers themselves. But now there's a shift into, they don't even want to take the role of manager anymore. Yeah. They want to go straight to being performer. They don't want to take that first step. You know what I mean? Because now it's like, because of the evolution, you don't need to take that small step. You don't need to be the arm candy first. You can just go straight into being a performer, because now talent is being respected a lot more. So they're like, you know what? If I have the talent, let me just go in and be a worker. You know what I mean? Not even be the arm candy anymore. So I like that. I like how that shift has changed. You know, there's a lot of people who are just, you know, like I've seen some people who they don't want to wait, and they'll take that step first and be a manager and just kind of see how other people are doing it. And then there are some people who be like, no, I'll just stay in the school for as long as possible, become really, really good, just go straight into, you better respect me, I'm going to get in that ring, this is how much you're going to pay me, and let's go. You know, so I like that.
But even in that scenario, like how many, I even in the beginning, at that point, the double standard always exists, because for a female, if she's not the wrestler she needs to be just yet, well, she's cute, so we'll make her a valet. As opposed to the guy never gets that option. If he's shitty. Just put him out there. He'll get better over time. Don't worry about it. Like, girls have to automatically be like the best wrestler on the planet just to get the start, as opposed to a guy where it's like, no promoters ever said, well, have you ever thought about being a manager first or a valet first? Yeah. It's never, the conversation has never actually taken place. It's usually the other way around. So that's actually a really good point.
Well, I mean, I can add in that with my school, we started most of our guys out as referees.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yes,
we did. So I mean, I guess that would be kind of be their valet moment.
But
in a
I
way.
think a lot of guys start out as
have a valet
yeah,
moment.
but you took that opportunity. The reasoning that you
humble
put
the men.
behind the referee deal was experience. It gets them
Yes.
comfortable inside the ring.
It gives them ring experience, ring recognition, everything like that. It
Right,
gives them
exactly.
that
On paper, it sounds the same as the valet, but the valet, the mindset's different. Well, she's cute. There's no real experience factor for it. Like it's such
I
a
never
negative.
booked like that,
No,
so-
I know, but that's why you're here, because you have a different perspective on things. It's like, I understand where you're coming from. I agreed with that so much when I was there, because many of those referees ended up becoming wrestlers and ended up becoming really, really good wrestlers.
Well, I don't actually think this down the line, because they said like that actually helped them out a lot too.
It did. Yeah, but I sort of. You wanted to put your students in a position to be successful, even if it meant taking the baby steps. A lot of promoters and bookers don't do that.
Yes.
They're placing a body on the card. The only time that doesn't happen is with the women. With the women, they take great care in deciding which woman it is, what kind of woman is it. Does she have the mentality for it? Does she have the skill? Is she local? Is she too far away? No. They don't do that with guys. It's just he's breathing, so I guess he
sold tickets.
Yeah, he sold a few tickets, right. He's in the battle royal. Yeah.
I was just about to say that. Like that to me sometimes is their baby step. It's like, oh, you're green as shit. Let's just put you in like,
let's have the vets beat him up in a battle royal.
Like a battle royal over the top, 20 people, do 2 moves and get out of there.
Yeah.
Okay, save it for the person who we really want to win. You know, that's gonna be your beginner moment. Do a couple of those first for a couple of different companies, and then come back to us. So yeah, that's totally true. So some would say that this pay-per-view is just a way to give women a payday, since the men are in Saudi Arabia, and others have promoted that this is the ultimate validation to the women's hard work and a culmination of the progress they have made over the year with all the firsts, like the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match, the first women's Hell in a Cell, and the first women's Royal Rumble. So we are now days away from an important milestone in women's history, and now we have to, decide, like, do we think that this is just a pay-per-view just for women so that it could be a payday since they're not allowed in Saudi Arabia, or is there more to this?
There's more to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
A multi-million-dollar company is not going to put pay-per-views and back the women the way they are if there's not more to it. They would find something else to do. They would, besides doing a whole branded pay-per-view around women. I don't believe that it's just to give them a payday.
Exactly. That's why we asked the question. Because if you go online, all you see is, oh, they're only getting this opportunity because they can't go to Saudi Arabia. Why would that be the sticking point? They've never done one before that. They've never felt a reason ever to do one. Why would that be the one sole reason whatsoever? I initially thought that when it was announced, because I felt like they were hiding something. It was like, we announced the pay-per-view in August, And then right when we get toward the end, by the way, 5 days later, we're going to be in Saudi Arabia.
I kind of thought the same thing, too,
So
with
I
that.
think
It's like,
yeah.
it does a little bit seem, but I think they do believe in the woman and they feel that they deserve this. But at the same time, it's like you said, they announced it 5 days later, and it's just like...
No.
Oh.
You're
Oh,
here.
sorry. But yeah, I can understand like people thinking that way, especially when they announced the Saudi Arabia 5 days later. So, but I think they feel the women deserve it. So, and that was their main intention.
Or at least a shot, right?
Yeah.
They get the one opportunity. Okay, here it is.
Yeah.
Here's the road.
They went with football, and
Yeah.
that didn't work. So, at least go with something they've been pushing and trying to
They went with the
build
DCW
up,
brand. You see how that went.
Yeah, right.
They've had some failures in the past, yes.
Well, I think it's just because women are excluded from the Saudi Arabia.
You do feel that it is.
I mean, because as you said, last year, because they weren't invited, they still paid them all.
Right.
But yet they did nothing.
They didn't do anything, right?
They didn't do anything, but they still got paid. This year, they're like, you know what? I want my money's worth.
This time.
This time I'm going to pay you, but
This
you're
time I'm
actually going to
paying
do
you.
Are they
something.
not getting paid for the Saudi Arabia show this? I don't know. I haven't looked.
Well, if you believe it was available or leaked online, the idea is that all of the women got a payday.
Yeah.
Considering the fact that even if the women had gone on the show, it's a full show. We figured 10 matches. I think they had like 10 matches or whatever on that show.
Yeah.
And most of it was fluff. You can eliminate some of those matches for women's matches in there or whatever. But at most, you would have had about 4 or 6 women on the show at the most.
Yeah.
But all of them got paid. So there was like a discussion back in, I think it was March or April, where they were just like, wow, literally all of them. It felt like a consolation prize. It's just like, well, sorry we shit on you on this one occasion. Even though before that, Alexa and Sasha had a match in the Middle East. So
I remember they had to wear like full. They couldn't wear their regular
full leather
gear.
outfits. They had to be covered like completely from like neck to feet or whatever.
Yeah.
But they still had the match. They still had the belt. The crowd chanted "This is hope" at the end of that match.
Oh
'cause they
wow!
were
Yeah,
all-
that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So when that happened, and then it follows with, oh, by the way, you're not going to be on the pay-per-view. You can't even take a flight over there. You have to stay here.
Yeah.
There was a big uproar online.
I remember that.
Right. So all the women got paid their normal whatever for the show. And that was kind of like the end of it.
Yeah.
Now we're doing the show again, but this time it feels like they jumped ahead of it. And they're just like, hey, guys, we're going to do an all-women's pay-per-view. They're like, oh,
to
great.
Make up for it.
And then exclude you 5 days later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think it's a way to pay them so that they get paid. You know what I mean? Just like the men are getting paid for this show, you'll get paid for this show. But you know what? It does have a dual purpose. I mean, it's paying them to do something, but at the same time, it is pushing their agenda.
Yeah.
Because they do have an agenda. You know what I mean? This obviously all year hasn't been for nothing. So I'm not. I do think primarily at first it was because they weren't invited by Saudi Arabia, but then they created a storyline where it made sense, and then they just pushed it to back up further their evolution cause. You know what I mean? So that's
I think it's both, like where, because they could have just been like, well, the women can't go, oh well, and just pay them like they did with the first time. They didn't have to give them their own show, but I do think they wanted to give them the opportunity, like you said, the last year or so was leading up to something. But I think it's a little bit of both.
I think that's why my opinion has changed on it too.
Yeah.
Because I started thinking about it. I was like, that's a very expensive, I'm sorry. Putting the production together, the venue together, the pay-per-view, everything, on the network, the streaming, all that stuff. They hate streaming in New York because it's so expensive with the 2 buildings. And yet, one of the only pay-per-view in New York is going to be this one up until WrestleMania weekend, I guess.
Yeah.
So they're investing.
Yeah.
They're not promoting, but they're investing.
Not putting the effort in the
They
promotion.
haven't. I know you said earlier you haven't really been paying too much attention to the product. They have not, in the least, been really promoting this thing like a big deal. The only time you really hear about it is during the women's segments, and pretty much NXT has run this thing into the ground because most of the matches on this show is NXT. There's only 2-3 main roster matches on this freaking show. Everything else is NXT, NXT UK.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a nice batch of other things. So they figured I've got other shit to talk about. We got to put over
They
this.
definitely are not making it the primary
This
focus.
don't say Saudi Arabia Crown Jewel pay-per-view. We're not allowed to say Saudi Arabia. We can promote Crown Jewel up to Wazoo, but we can't say the two code
where it's
words.
located.
Yeah, we can't say where it's
where it
located.
is, guys.
But in the same time, they're still putting a lot of money into this.
Yeah,
The
right.
same thing with when NXT started. That was kind of low key at first too.
Very,
and then it
for
kind of
them.
took off. So it could be along the same lines of let's put money into this, let's see how it does, and if it does, then
But that
it could be something along those lines too.
you have a question later that I don't want to spoil, but I'm gonna come back to that later. So go
yes,
ahead.
we are going to come back to that
I'll come
question
back to
later.
that.
But
Put
you
a
know,
thumbtack in that.
like
you know?
there's been a lot of discussion and debates also because of this when Stephanie McMahon first came out and did her whole promo, explaining this pay-per-view and how it was the women's evolution and how she started it and all this. Days later, all these divas came out tweeting about it, saying, I'm the reason that it's, I'm the reason for the evolution. No, I'm the reason for the evolution. No, I'm the reason for the evolution. So all the divas came out and tweeted about it. Stephanie McMahon has, since the first day, gloated, that it's been her and she's the reason behind this evolution. And then there's lots of, indie companies that have remained kind of silent and humble about it, since they're not the big dog, the big company, they remain quiet, like Shimmer, who had all women shows since
TNA.
the 2000s. You know what I mean?
TNA did them, the knockout shows.
TNA did it
On
knockout
pay-per-view,
shows.
by
I
the
was going
way.
to say,
Yeah.
they're
On
technically
pay-per-view.
the first pay-per-view.
The
Yeah.
first
women's
paper one to
Yeah.
do it. So who do you believe really started the evolution? Like, would you pinpoint a certain era? Would you pinpoint a certain person that started the evolution?
Or to Steph Wright. Did she do it? Because if you listen to Stephanie McMahon, she created everything. I did this. It's all me. What do you think?
I don't know.
It's hard.
It's a mix.
Because there's so many people.
Because
Exactly.
you mentioned the divas and we mentioned how they were like the piss break back in the day, but at least they had more exposure than I guess like Shimmer did when
Yeah,
it first started. Like not everybody knows about Shimmer, but everybody knows about WWE. But I think Shimmer had legit women's matches from the beginning. Like they had real wrestlers, women who were trained, and it wasn't just about looks for them. So they deserve credit too. And then, but again, WWE has like the spotlight. So it's, I don't know, it's in between. Like everybody deserves some sort of credit. And then we mentioned TNA. They actually are the first ones that really did an all women's pay-per-view. So they deserve credit for that because WWE didn't do it years ago.
You can make an argument at that time the knockouts were way more successful than the women's division.
At that time,
The knockouts
definitely.
were hot at that time. Yeah, Beautiful People, Amazing Kong, Gail Kim.
If you wanted women's wrestling, you always go to TNA. I remember everybody saying that like when the knockouts really started building up.
had knockout tag team titles.
Yep, they sure did.
That's how big that division got.
Yep.
Kara?
Honestly, if you want to talk about I think if I want to talk about the specific evolution, when this whole thing started, I want to say it was NXT. I want to say it wasn't until say Sasha Banks. Once those women started getting recognition,
Like Emma, Paige, Sasha,
yes,
Bailey.
Once they they had that little thing where it was Sasha versus I don't remember those few girls that she was wrestling.
Bailey
Yes.
and Charlotte Flair.
But when that first started and that got NXT and stuff like that, I think that then kind of opened everybody's eyes to where did they come from, and
Right.
then there's these indie girls. Oh, and and then they got these women down in NXT, and look at them training and look at them wrestling. I think I mean, can you bring that back to Stephanie? Then I don't know who actually brought them into NXT, but I think to me this whole part right now, this whole evolution right now is what started with them to me. I mean,
especially in
obviously-
WWE.
Yes,
Yeah.
I used to watch the Lita and Trish and all that kind of back in the day, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't.
it was
the
a starter
same.
kit in comparison. At the
Yeah.
time,
It definitely wasn't
Yeah.
something I would say kickstarted anything because it was just another part of the show. Now they could be the show any night, and that to me is a huge
They'll
difference.
be the show this Sunday.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I was having this conversation with Orsini in the car because I was just like, you know what? He asked me, and I said, well, the only way that I could really examine who started is to really think about the history of it. And in my first thought, I'm thinking, well, when did you actually have a division, in the WWE? When did you actually have a division? Because at first it was just a Lunger Blaze, and I mean you can't have a division with just one person. You know what I mean? You have to have multiple people. So then, he was like, well, after Lunger Blaze, it was that whole era with Lita and Trish, and Victoria, Molly Holly, etc.
Jazz. Yeah.
And I said, but you know what? It's not about having them in the division. Is who brought them into the division. Because if you didn't have that one person with that eye about let me get women with talent in here, same talent as Alundra Blaze, who can go against her legitimately, you know what I mean? And you can actually back them thinking, oh, they can finally beat her, not, okay, just being fodder for her.
Alundra was out of the picture at that point.
It was, I mean, still, they wanted that same amount of...
competition. They wanted competition.
Yeah, they just wanted competition. I was like, well, who's the person who found these people? Because he's the one that had the eye for it, or she, and he was like, how it was Jim Ross. At that time, Jim Ross was the one who was, the
Vice
the
President
talent
of talent relations.
Talent relations at the time, and he was the one bringing these women in. And then I was like, okay, well then, after these women, it then became the Diva era. And I was like, it was no longer Jim Ross during the Diva era. It was now John Laurinaitis. And then you see what his eye was for. And his eye
He literally
was for...
picked women out of a magazine. He told his story with a straight face.
Yes.
He opened up a modeling catalog and went, I like her. Let's hire her.
Yeah. I mean, he was basing it on zero experience, zero talent. I just want pretty faces who maybe we can train to do a couple of moves and get through, an 8-minute match. And I said, okay.
I don't think they have 8 minutes. I don't think they had 8. They gave them 8 minutes.
Maybe not even 8, maybe 5.
Yeah,
exactly.
5 on a good
not
day.
even including the entrances. And then I'm thinking, well,
Many distraction roll-ups.
What was the era after that? And I said, after that, the era was
The Performance Center.
the Performance Center.
NXT.
And the people who controlling the Performance Center was Triple H. And I remember reading up on the internet when they first said that Triple H was going to take more of a role behind the scenes, that he wasn't going to be like on-air talent anymore. He's going to be behind the scenes, actually working more, building this NXT brand. How he wanted to push, the two centerpieces he wanted to push was women and tag teams. That was his two biggest
Because they were
agendas.
practically dead before he showed up.
Yes.
All
So-
of it, even tag team. They lasted like 2 seconds and then they fight each other.
Then he started looking for women, and that's when you started getting talent again. But then that word came to me, talent again. So if it's again, that means they're not the ones that started it. So that means you have to go back to Jim Ross. So I'm like, thank you, Jim Ross, for first bringing in those talented women. And then you can thank the Diva division for kind of holding that spot for the talented women, and then thank Triple H for bringing back the talented women again.
If you
know what I
eliminate
mean?
the
So I feel like the Lita era and the Trish era was like the revolution, while NXT women was them being evolved.
That's the evolution.
It was
of it.
it was like the Lita era and Trish era being evolved. But it started with them, though. It started with Jim Ross. So.
You're brimming over here. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Because I've always come from the role of behind the scenes.
Right.
I would never say I did something. I'm going to say this person did it. Like the Beatles revolutionized music. It
Right.
wasn't the person who found them. So
Right.
to me, I know Triple H was behind the scenes. I know I saw all the posts where he was proud, he was this and that. But it's those people that went out there and did it that actually did it.
So then
Because
does
without
it-
their talent,
Yeah.
Triple
then
H could have found them and it would have been nothing.
Does it bother you that a lot of these Triple H, Stephanie, William Regal, Norman Smiley, Robbie Brookside, that they attach themselves to these talents so excruciatingly
in a way,
tight?
because
as soon
it
as they
is the
do something
talent.
successful, it's like the first thing they do is just run over,
Yes.
bring the camera over real quick, and then they just start
Yes.
hugging them, and they're like,
Because without someone being able to provide that their quality, their character, their talent to that, then there's nothing. If those women went out there and stunk it up, it would have flopped. No matter how much money, how much production, how much training, how much anything they gave them, it would have been nothing. So to me, it's the actual people that make it that. That's just my perspective.
yeah, no, that's why you're here.
That's a good perspective to have. No, I don't take away from the women, but like if you ever see the documentaries on the women, like the first thing they're gonna do is so and so found me.
That's
Like
Right,
that's
yeah.
the first thing.
But
the
that's
first
because
thing they're
they're
gonna
Because they're giving
gonna
credit-
say,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
they give some credit. Because if they were never found,
Right.
then
wouldn't
they
know who they
then
are.
you
It's
wouldn't
the
know
chicken.
who they were.
It's the
Like,
chicken
somebody
and the
has
egg.
to find
Yeah,
you.
it's the
Which
chicken
came
and the
first,
egg.
the chicken or the
Yeah,
chicken
like
or the egg.
they have
So-
to find me so I can get on this stage, but without my talent, I don't build the stage. I don't create this opportunity for other people. It's a give and take. That's why I think, in your point, when you look at someone like John Laurinaitis, who just legitimately did not give a fuck, he was just like, the more tits I can get backstage, the better. Whereas opposed to
Now there's no tits.
when it became
now
almost
now
yeah.
they're all like the itty bitty titty committee.
They're
you know what I mean?
they're athletes now.
Yeah, exactly. You don't
a
care
bunch
how
of
big
gymnasts
their tit
now at
size
this point,
are.
nah.
You know what I mean? And they don't all come in with the big boobs anymore. They have a choice to be like, no, I don't want breast surgery.
Listen,
Vince
I was a
McMahon. I wanna
teenager in the
keep my
90s. I
breast size.
appreciate that era to a degree. But as far as the athleticism goes, I mean, yeah. Even when the Bellas got hooked up, like when the Bellas got all souped up and Nikki went in and came out looking like a football player, all of a sudden I was like, oh, that's dangerous now. Before you never worried about that. Like when women got augmented in any way, not just boobs, but like chins and noses and stuff like you. At first you were like, all right, cool. She got fixed up or whatever she felt like she needed to do. Now as I was looking at it as a competitive edge, I'm like, I don't know, getting something. Like whenever I hear surgeries, like for injuries, it's one thing, but cosmetic stuff, it makes me kind of nervous because it's like you heard the Charlotte situation
I was
where
gonna say,
didn't
she pop one of
she had a
hers?
rupture,
And-
and then came back bigger.
Yeah.
I was like, what happened? We were just talking
Just
about
in there,
this.
like make them bigger.
While you're in there,
While you're in there,
while you're there.
a couple more CCs wouldn't hurt the old bank account. but
We've seen the internet
But
pics.
here's Charlotte now. Like she's been augmented, but at the same time, she's considered one of the best wrestlers on the roster. So now we're at a point where the cosmetic stuff is cool, but it's not taking away from the performance. So yeah, it's definitely evolved much because before it was either one or the other. You either had your Lunas or you had your Sables. Never
Yeah.
before could you do
Yeah.
a Luna and a Sable together.
Yeah.
Now we have a whole roster full of Luna Sables,
Yep.
Lunables, if you could.
Oh my god! But like the WWE has been pushing this show and have been promoting this show, and
No,
they've
they
been
have not.
I'm
Not
just saying
enough. I should
they've
say.
kind
enough,
of been
yeah.
pushing the fact that they're like, we should take credit for this whole women's.
That's what they've
evolution.
been promoting.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what they've been promoting.
They
we should
really
get the
haven't
credit.
been. Yeah.
But you
look
know,
what we're doing.
Yeah,
look
look
at
what
us.
we're doing. But they're not the ones who started it. They're not the ones like. They didn't come up with this idea on their own. So my next question is, should the WWE get the credit for this women's evolution, or are there other companies that should receive some of that credit, some of that distinction? So what do you guys think? Are there any other companies out there that you feel should get some of the credit, share the credit? They ever did a documentary, WWE?
Women's
like,
wrestling,
who
right?
would
Who gets the most credit?
Who would they take the
Who did
photos
it?
from? You know what I mean? And doing a nice timeline.
Probably would be WWE, unfortunately.
Unless they buy out TNA.
Yeah. I mean, WWE has a platform like nobody else.
And that's
Yeah.
the thing. It's like like we mentioned before, like how TNA was really the first one to do an all women's pay-per-view.
How many people listening know that?
Yeah,
that's kind of.
But they
upsetting.
were not at the exposure that WWE is. So I think WWE's taking the ball that they saw was rolling and they're putting it even bigger. So they get some credit for giving it more exposure, but they didn't. I don't think they started at least on their own. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah,
in between.
I completely agree with that. Like I feel like current fans now, like the only company they can actually think of is Shimmer.
Yeah.
Like
And
that's the
Shine,
first
right?
thing
Yeah.
like that's the first thing that comes to their mind. But there were companies that came beforehand, but they weren't really doing it for the wrestling aspect. Like Glow was doing it to include wrestling in a TV show, and the Delta
original
Tiger
Lucha Underground,
lilies
Glow.
were the Delta Tiger lilies as well. Coming out of the 1980s,
She
they
did
were doing
research.
it.
What's up with
But
this?
they were doing
1988.
more straight to video, but they didn't actually have champions of their own. They would just promote other people's champions. And then, the Powerful Women of Wrestling, which came after Glow, and they saw a market here. And they were like, you know what, let's do less comedy and let's actually do more wrestling, But I do give credit to the WWE for making it more worldwide and expanding it more globally. You know what I mean? But I don't give them the actual credit for starting this. I felt like these other companies planted the seed, and it blossomed.
Planted the
and then
seed.
they just took the seed and took the plant and repotted it in their own nice, beautiful.
They're not even repotting it. They're taking
plant.
the plant from that person's soil and planting it in their garden.
Yeah, that's
They're
what I'm
taking the
saying. That's what
template.
I'm saying.
Their evolution, the pay-per-view this week is going to have the template of Shimmer and Shimmer's talent.
Yeah, primarily.
Primarily,
Yeah.
Becky, Sasha,
Yeah.
all of the Shimmer All-Stars are basically here performing exactly what they would do on the Shimmer card. They're just going to do it on WWE pay-per-view. That's it.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, TNA and WWE both. I mean, I want to say the best stuff that they've done in the past few years, they've taken from the indies.
Yeah.
The best people they've taken from the indies.
Who brought
So-
those ideas up with them and then they
Exactly.
pitched them like they were original ideas. You're not going to believe this. This is a great thing. Watch this. This is awesome.
So I mean, they're never going to give that credit to someone that they took ideas from. You know, and that to me is where it.
WWE,
Where the credit goes.
WWE is Christopher Columbus.
Yes.
They got to the country
Yes.
that was already settled and said, this is a nice place. I just discovered
I
this.
claim this,
Yes, I claim this under the rule of Italia. There you go. This is it.
And like to go with that, I think like if women's wrestling wasn't as successful on the indies, they probably wouldn't care either.
Again, there has to be
Yeah.
a market, right? If you're going to put a pay-per-view on, you're assuming someone's going to watch it, right?
Yeah,
Well, they
yeah.
took what they could from the indies and tried it out in NXT. And when it took off, then they kind of just have been step by step by step by step until it's got to this point where like, hey, let's invest and try this.
And you know what? That sort of leads into my next question, because actually it's like a two-part question, because as you said, NXT, but who exactly in NXT is now taking people from the indies? You would think Triple H, because that's his baby. You know what I mean?
minions.
But at the same time, that's his baby, and that's where all the women are coming from that we see on Raw and SmackDown. But yet Stephanie McMahon is out there saying, it's all me. I'm the one doing this. I'm the one starting it. I'm the one finding all this great talent and showing it to you. And I feel like, is she more like the Queen of England? She's more like a figurehead, but yet there's Parliament behind doing all the work. That's Triple H.
That's
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And he's basically saying, you know, I'm the one pushing all this, but you know, I'll let you be the face, because you know a man can't be a face for the women's revolution. A woman has to be the face of the women's revolution.
I think that's
the
where it is. I
evolution.
think Triple H is doing
You
a lot
know,
of it and going, hey,
or
you go
is
right
or
ahead.
is this her baby too? You know, is she the one doing all the ideas and incorporating this and giving it to Triple H, and he's using NXT to try it out? You know what I mean? Practice with it, you know, modify it there, and then they bring it up when it's nice and ready. So she's just a figurehead, or is this her ideas? Are these her, you know, her
I
doing?
think her role is, come on, Dad, give it a shot. I think that's where it is, because no matter what Triple H says, it's all Vince's. It's Vince's.
Yeah, Vince
it has
still
to
has
Vince
like the
okay,
main control, and he still oversees Triple H. I don't think he worries about NXT as much, but especially with like the main roster, I know it's all Vince at the end of the day. Like he gives the final approval of everything. I think Stephanie, like she probably has some influence and like is wanting to help, but she's probably more like the figurehead. A little bit in between.
Yeah, I think they still have to rely a lot on their scouts and the people coming into their tryouts and stuff like that. You know, their trainers to really, you know, pick on who's going to be good. And I don't know, maybe then she comes in and oversees then, or maybe Triple H comes in and oversees. I have no clue how that works, but she's definitely not the one there handpicking each person. I would bet money that she's not doing that.
Yeah, I think she's just the face of women's evolution. And I know you said that at the end of the day it goes through Vince, but I think I just read the other day that Vince said, you know, to this day I still haven't watched a single NXT show. Like, I don't
He's
think
not supposed to.
I don't. I
hate
don't
that.
He doesn't have any
I
involvement
hate
with
that
that.
comment.
He has
I'm talking about
he has
Raw
no
and
involvement.
SmackDown pay-per-views.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
oversees that. Like I
This
said,
guy
he's not
has like
worried
8
about
million live broadcast. We just talked about it the other day, SmackDown 1000, right? That means Vince McMahon currently is the owner and proprietor of not one, but 2 of the longest episodic television shows in the history of TV. He's not stopping for an hour to watch NXT. It's not happening. You're the owner of a $1 billion company. You can't micromanage everything. That's why Triple H and Regal are there, so he
can't-
doesn't
exactly.
have to.
So since he's not micromanaging it, then it is all Triple H.
But that's why
Triple
NXT
H.
is the way that it is. Believe me, if Vince saw what they were doing down there, he'd change it immediately. Because these guys who come from NXT to the main roster, they flop for a reason. It's 2 different things. One's making Italian, the other one's making Mexican. It's not the same thing. That's why these talents who come up eventually either go back or get pushed down because they're not fitting into what he wants to do.
Oh, and that goes into my second question, because you know, that quote, behind every good man there's a great woman, and behind every great woman there's a great man. You know, like with Obama you have Michelle, and then with Ruth Ginsburg, you know, her husband, if it wasn't for her husband taking a back seat and saying, you know, I'll watch the kids, I'll make the food, you go on and be Supreme Court Justice, she wouldn't be there. If it wasn't for him saying, okay, I'm not going to take the spotlight, you do what you got to do in an age where women were supposed to be in the kitchen, you know what I mean? So, I mean, there were great men behind these great women. And do you think there were, like, who do you think backstage is, like, a big supporter of this women's evolution from either back in the day, Lita Trish era, or the Diva era, or now era? Like, who do you think are big supporters of the women's evolution?
I think right now it's still Triple H. Like, the way he books NXT, the way that, like you said, like we were bringing in the talent, and he believes in the women just as much as the men. We mentioned Jim Ross earlier, like he was part of that whole, like the Trish Lita. I know he's very into women's wrestling. I don't know, I guess, specifics, but I feel like a lot of the guys, like the backstage guys, are just like, are invested in it as well and supporters of it, I think. Most of them. There's probably some that are not. I don't know. But I think the majority of the locker room is just as supportive as the women.
Is there anybody in the indies right now that you feel are strong supporters of women? Because you've worked with a lot of companies. Is there anybody in particular?
I would say, like, first person that came into mind was Joey Ryan. Because, you know, he does all the intergender. Like, he is, like, one of the biggest women supporters that I know. Even now, James Ellsworth, he's doing the intergender championship because he believes in women and wants to give them that opportunity. I was at Nova Pro Friday, and they're one of the few that I was mentioning earlier where most of their card is half women's matches, half men. And they just did a mixed tag team tournament, the show I did Friday. And it's just, yeah, every show, it's the women are headlining most of the time. Nice. So there's a few examples, like some more than others, but I think a lot of the majority are now supporting because they see how much it's grown.
Can I modify the question for you? Because one of the biggest reasons I wanted you here for the show is your expertise as the booker promoter end of it. Because there aren't many females that do that.
Right.
So what kind of experiences are you having with people, negative, positively, when it comes to, the boss at this place is a woman?
With me, with my group of guys around me, there were still struggles. It was still a woman in charge of men. And which is surprisingly to know that a lot of those guys came up from underneath us, and there was still struggles with some of them because I never trained, and I would never claim to know any of the moves that any of the guys know. I would never. But I sat and watched for 10 years, you know, so I did have an understanding of what was going on training wise. But there was still a
hands-on training because you're in the school like every day.
Well, yes, but I would never claim to say I can teach you how to do this because I never did that. But there was still a lot of guys that came in where, well, you've never done this, so you don't know what you're talking about. And there was still guys that would, even when I started, when I was booking the Friday Night Fight show for over a year by myself, there was guys that would come in and shake everybody's hands and walk right by me. Like, being the only woman standing there, it didn't make a difference if I was someone's girlfriend. I'm still standing amongst all the men at that point, just shake everyone's hand. Nope, skip right over me and go to everybody else. So then I would have to walk and be like, hi, I'm Kara, I'm the owner here. Like, and not to be like a jerk about it, but at that point,
that was you
like,
winning.
I'm gonna be a little bit of a jerk. Now because,
You gotta let them know sometimes.
You know?
Exactly.
But
because that's rude. You say hi to everybody.
Exactly. But it was still I had people that were very supportive of it, but I still had a lot of like struggles. And if I didn't hold myself with a certain respect, I would have got walked all over.
Absolutely. My experiences with PWA, because I've worked for her for many, many years.
He's our voice.
Thank you. I only did my business through Kara. I never did any of my business through Von Schmidt. The only time that I ever really communicated with Von Schmidt is usually at shows for something that needed to be done, something helping-wise, something I need to announce or whatever. And the only reason Pete told me is because she was busy doing something else. See, I ran everything through Kara.
We have such a good relationship with the way we run shows.
Right.
Literally, I run this half, he runs that half. and we know what we are. We will interact at different points, but like he runs the show behind the scenes, behind the stage. I run the front of the show. I run the music. I run the sound. I work directly with like AJ doing announcing. I work with the referees. Right. Once it comes to that point, like we're such in like go mode, and we have our own separate ways that he literally doesn't have to interact with Pete and what's your finish, you know, something like that. Like that's all he would have to do.
I kept it 100% professional, but in my defense, because there's like she said, because there's people who were even under her who know her that still have trouble. One of the first few shows that we worked together, because I started working with PWA through FTW, because I was FTW's ring announcer, and Von Schmidt was the champion.
I remember the birthday party.
Yes, the birthday thing.
Yes.
So Von Schmidt, he was working for FTW. He was the FTW champion at the time. And I didn't even know he had a company in Connecticut. And all of a sudden, he hits me up one day. He's like, "Hey, we're looking for somebody. Are you interested?" I came, and I don't remember if it was the first show or the second show. I happened to be standing behind the curtain. There's a match going on, and she has a monitor in front of her. She's watching the monitor, and she's looking at the match, and she's, oh God, oh, okay. Oh God, no! And like she's not talking to anybody. She's just doing it in her head. So I walk over to her. It's like, "Is everything okay?" And she's like, "They gotta tighten that up." And I'm like, "What?" So the next match comes on. I do my thing. I come in the back. She's doing it again. This time I'm commenting. So now both of us are simultaneously shitting on this match. She's like, "Oh my God, he should have quarter rolled that." It's like, I know. If he backs, and we're going back and forth. And from then on, I was like, all right, yeah, she's gonna be a lot of fun to work with, because she sees the same things that I see. You and I, Ariela, have had that conversation. I'll call your match, and then like at the end of the show, you're like, "Well, what did you see?" Here's what I saw. But it's the same way. You do that to me. She critiques me.
Somebody's got to.
Yeah, exactly.
But see, that's the important thing, having a good woman behind you that can be honest with you, or a good man behind you that can be honest with you too. Because I was always that way with Pete too.
Right,
when his match would stink, I'd be like, "That no."
That sucks.
Like those punches were horrible. Like, you know, I didn't hold back.
Like the match with
God,
like the match with me. That sucked. The match that he had with me sucked.
with Schmidt. No.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. It was we had went to Texas. And you had wanted me to get promos from everybody. And so I got a promo from him, and he shoots a promo. And in my head, I'm thinking, I didn't like that part, and I didn't like that part. But do I say it? Is he going to take my suggestions because I'm not you? I was like, but you know what? I'm going to roll with it, because I'm not going to give Anthony something that I wouldn't have liked. So I was like, I'm going to say it anyway. We're going to do round 2. If he takes it, he takes it. If he doesn't, he does it. And then I'm going to go to the boss and be like, Orsini, I told him to change it, but he didn't do it. I'm a tattle. I was like, that's a tattle. I was just like, and I said my piece, and then he fixed one or two things. And I was like, oh, okay. I kind of felt some respect. I was like, you listen.
She ran into a lot of that in Texas, because there was a lot of people we didn't know. So her job was to go back there and get promos, and there were a lot of guys who were just like,
and the second time pregnant. So imagine a pregnant woman be like, "You need."
I think that's why she got him. Yes, do now or else. Yeah. She was doing the video whilst I think she was like 6 or 7 months pregnant at the time with him. Yeah. So she flew to Dallas, Texas. She did all the video work, and then we flew back.
I give you credit for that.
Yeah. You see, that's strong women right there in the wrestling.
That's why you're
I
the
wasn't
host
a worker,
of this
but
show.
I was working. Okay. But yeah, and that's why I actually like in the indie company, if there was anybody like supporting women, because I feel like even in the indie company, if there are people supporting women in the indie company, nobody ever takes notice unless it's somebody higher up supporting women. You know what I mean? Unless somebody they feel has a voice. So that's why I feel like if I look back in the history, who had a strong voice that had a lot of the fans' ears that were supporting women. And you know, I was talking to Orsini, and he brought up some 2 valid people, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Rock. Because I remember a quote the Stone Cold said that, you know, and it was recorded saying that Trish is a 7-time WWE champion. She's not a women's champion. She's just a champion. Yeah. We shouldn't just divide it between, you know, male and female. You know, she's just a champion, and it's right of itself. She won this belt 7 times.
Yeah.
We just call her 7 times.
She just
That
won it
was
in a
showing
different
support.
division. Yeah.
Yeah, that was showing support.
No one calls Stone Cold a 6-time WWE Men's Champion. They call me a 6-time WWE Champion.
Yeah.
She won the top belt in her division. I won it in mine. Very similar to any competitive sport. But he said on this podcast when he said that exact quote, he goes, Trish had earned so much of my respect during that time period because of all the shit she had to go through just to even be on TV.
Oh, yeah, I can
and on
imagine.
the Rock side, that women's main event, Lita and Trish, was supposed to be a mixed tag. And Rock, that doesn't make any sense. It should be just them.
On Raw when they main evented Raw the first time.
Yeah, with the inverted German, with the dive to the outside. Love it.
So clearly them two have the popularity and have like most of the supporters of wrestling that once they say it, everybody's like, oh yeah, Rock. Yeah, of course, Stone Cold.
Yeah, nobody's gonna tell The Rock.
Yeah,
no,
nobody's gonna tell them differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yet in
But
the
they right,
company, so some people will argue like, no, you don't listen to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like,
There's
but
probably a bunch of that. And luckily, in my case, I haven't really dealt with that where I've seen, men just not, being acceptable.
Because you in the Northeast. Take your ass to Texas.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
see
say
how
it's
that
probably
goes
because I'm
for
in New
you.
York and
Yeah. South
you know.
Carolina territory
Oh,
might
yeah.
be too kind. to
yeah,
you folk down
that
there.
is different. But at least in my experience, it seems like at least everybody. At least
I didn't mean
pretends
that,
to
South
be.
Carolina. Keep
Yeah.
downloading, please.
Yeah.
I think it's come a long way too, because even when I was first starting out with indie wrestling, like women didn't have a place unless they kind of made their way in and did their own little thing a lot of times too. Now there still are the women that get in and want to do that thing, but a lot of them are just like, I want to wrestle,
Right.
and they're not all about that too. And again, it's that respect, the way they're holding themselves now too, where they know these women are out there doing it. I want to do that, and this is what I'm going to do. Like, there's no I have to do this, or this. No, I'm going to train. I'm going to do this.
I think it's a good cosmetic thing when they do things like the Mixed Max Challenge,
Yeah.
and they have Bailey and Finn walking around as a team.
Yeah.
It's not just some dude who got saddled with a chick. They're wearing each other's gear. They're both doing
Yeah,
the
the
entrance
swords
together.
are-
It's
oh,
that acceptance of it. I think is very cosmetic because I think personally, and again, I'm just the guy here, but I saw somebody online say, "Man, if I had a daughter, I would love to take him to Evolution." And in my head, I thought, I think you should take your son too. Because I think there's two sides to that story. It's not just a girl feeling like I can do this. There should be a partner there saying, "Yeah, you can totally do this.
Yep.
You're just as good as I am. Come on up, and
It's
we'll
still
do this
wrestling.
together." Yeah,
It's still something you love. Why are you
Yeah.
saying my son can't go see this?
right, exactly.
You know?
It's I want my son to be able to go to this pay-per-view and look at these women doing what they do and having it ingrained in his head that this is normal.
Yes.
That he shouldn't be walking around thinking to himself, well, girls are less athletic and less physical and less strong, so they shouldn't be doing this. But at the same time, they need to see this. So I think it goes both ways, and I love the idea of integrating both the guys and the girls. Except for this Sunday. This Sunday should just be the ladies.
yeah. So we're going this Sunday. So
we bought our tickets the day after.
Yeah, we've gone to every major.
I haven't been to a WWE
WWE
show in
pay-per-view.
years.
Yeah, but we've gone to the major ones, including WrestleMania, Royal Rumble.
We've done the big four. We've done all four.
Survivor Series. But now this is a big milestone. So now, whether it's a success or not a success, do you think we should ever have another women's pay-per-view again? Whether this one is successful or not successful, do you think it should be ongoing?
I think it's interesting you guys have to think about this.
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, I'm all for it. I'm worried if it's not successful, they won't do it again. But then now I think if they start doing it too much, it's going to be separating men and women again. And I feel like everybody should be the same. So, I hope the pay-per-views that the women get more chances where it can be kind of more even. I'm all for all women's pay-per-view now and again. And I think it gives more women a chance because not every woman's going to be on every pay-per-view. But
You'll
then-
get your chance. Stop campaigning right now.
no, not me. But if we start separating it again, I feel like it's going to go opposite than what we're trying. Because now it's supposed to be the women are as good as the guys. They can, keep up with the guys. If we keep separating it, I'm worried it's going to go back like the opposite. Oh, the women can't be on the same level as guys. That's why they have to have their own thing. And I don't know. It's in between, but I'm all for it.
Kara?
I agree. I agree with that. I believe that if there's too many of them, it is separating it. But ultimately, I do believe it depends on the success of it. Like
Yeah.
if it's not successful, they're not going to invest in it again, unfortunately. So, but I also believe that the women in this respect have a lot on the line, and they know that too. Like that, there's a lot that they want to go out there and prove themselves. That they have been proving themselves, but now they have the spotlight. It's on them. So I think regardless, I think it's going to be a success, regardless of anything. But I think money-wise is always going to determine if it happens again too.
Yeah.
I think low-key the women of this locker room right now, this is their WrestleMania this summer.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
I think
It
this is going to
is.
be their WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I'm expecting new gear, new special
Oh, yeah.
entrances. I think
yeah.
I expect them to go all out.
They will and they should go
To-
all out.
to
I'm
Ariel-
They
excited.
should.
To Ariella's point, I mean,
It's like one night only. To them, it could be one night only.
it could be
Yeah.
one night.
So you-
this is the one chance
Yeah,
I
this is
have for
this
the
is one
spotlight to be
shot.
just
So
on
you-
me.
You,
Yeah,
you gotta make it as if tomorrow. That's it. Like
It
as
also
if
could
you
be
got
their
no
one
career.
shot to make it to Raw.
yeah,
for
exactly.
what they're thinking,
Especially
or
for the
to
NXT
SmackDown or
ones. Yeah,
something,
for the
yeah.
NXT competitors.
You know,
This
so.
is it.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
you know
Vince
what?
doesn't watch NXT, but
agree
he'll
with
be
Kara.
watching Evolution.
Yeah.
I agree with Kara that money's gonna talk on this one. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're not gonna see ongoing women's pay-per-view if this one is not nearly perfect. You know what I mean? If
Yeah,
it's not
nearly perfect, yeah.
Like we're not gonna see another one. But you know what? On the other hand, I was like, we have this Saudi Arabia. Remember, I said I think we just have it because of the Saudi Arabia. That's a 10-year deal. So if this is a success, we're gonna see it for the next 7 years. No, 8 years, because this is year 2 of that Saudi Arabia.
It may continue
Yeah,
to
so
be
we might
the
see
solution
it for
to
the
problem,
solution.
but-
But we might see it for the next 7 years. So if it's a success, he's gonna think cha-ching, and we're gonna see it for the
Like,
next
all right,
7
we'll do
years.
the women's
I
one right
think-
before the men's every
yeah.
time they go out.
Every
there or
time they go
whatever it
out,
is, yeah.
But you know what? If it tanks, money talks, and he's gonna find something else
I
for
think
the women to do.
I think the true sign of progression will be when that comes to an end. Then, because if it comes to an end, that means the women are on the trip,
Yeah.
and that's the important part of the trip.
Yeah.
I think that's what wrestling fans sometimes lose. It's like, well, the women can't go, so the WWE can't go. Well, if the WWE don't go, then the women will never go. You have
Yeah,
to keep
exactly.
chipping away at it.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
way, because Sasha and Alexa has already been there. I think, why do people keep forgetting that part? Sasha
Yeah,
and Alexa
they
have
did
already
one
been
match.
there. They
Yeah,
did
they
the
did
one
the
match
one-
already. We're chipping away. This new Prince guy is trying to, now he's into some shady shit right now. We all
Yeah,
understand.
exactly.
But they're always under shady shit. This isn't the first time we've had a problem with Saudi Arabia politically.
Yeah.
And it's never stopped businesses before, so.
Yeah, like you said, they have to chip it down.
Yeah, they
the,
got it.
the
Yeah.
women will never get out there if
Yeah.
the men don't go out first.
If by the
and-
end of, I'll pose this question to the round table. If by the end of the 10-year contract, women are able to compete not only in the WWE in Saudi Arabia, but women in general in Saudi Arabia are able to do more things as a result of this contract, was it worth the contract?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Then there you go. That's all you need.
It's a win-win if it does more with Saudi Arabia and gets the women more recognition here.
Yeah.
It's win-win no matter what.
I mean, what if this contract ends up changing policy in some way, allowing more freedoms for women or minorities of any
That'd
kind
be,
of
that'd be
country?
amazing
Yeah.
that wrestling did that.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
That'd be
Exactly.
amazing.
But that's the problem I have with fans who don't see the possibility of that now. They're looking at it now going, well, we shouldn't do business with them. Well, I mean, if everyone who committed a crime, if you just let him continue to commit crimes, he won't stop committing crimes.
Exactly.
Right.
you have to intervene at some point.
You
Why
have
not
to
entertainment?
Get friendly with them.
Because if we send the
Yeah.
military over there, that's not going to work out.
Yeah.
Why not entertainment?
Exactly.
All right, so now let's get to the meat of our show. The topic of roundtables, which is usually to focus
Yes.
primarily on.
You're doing excellent on time, by the
the,
way. We're
the
almost there.
If this was a TV screen, there'll be parentheses. Wife is
Parentheses.
glaring at husband. Okay, you guys can't see it. But now it's time to discuss evolution. And right now we're recording this Sunday the 21st, but 1 week before the show. So we're going to discuss the show as it is at the moment. Like what matches have they booked so far? Because we always know that the card is subject to change, and there may be some extra matches that weren't put up just yet. But right now we're gonna go through each match on the card, and
Real
you guys
quickly, yeah,
kind of
I'm
let
just
me
letting you
know who you think is gonna win. You know, if there's a reason why you think they're gonna win. You know, share your
Anything
thoughts.
on your mind.
Anything on your mind. But the first one is the NXT's Women's Championship is on the line as the feud between the champion Kairi Sane and
There it is.
Shayna Baszler continues on. So, who do you think is going to win, Sane or Baszler?
Sane retaining or Baszler. I don't know how much NXT you guys are watching exactly. That's why I said we go through this really quickly.
Like, part of me thinks like Kyrie will retain, and then I could see Shayna coming up to be like in Rousey's corner at some point soon.
Oh, please, dear God, please let that happen soon. I want that four horsewoman
Yeah,
thing
because
so
I've heard
bad.
that they're trying to do that four horsewoman match at some point, maybe Survivor Series. So I can see Kyrie retaining, and then like Shayna coming up soon, and then just her and Rousey just tearing everybody apart.
Have you
I
had
mean,
a chance?
I know that there's been a feud. I mean, I've missed a couple of NXT, so I didn't know who has the belt now.
You just said
but-
defending
Oh,
Kyrie.
Okay, so Kyrie Sane. So I feel like she's probably going to retain, only because I do see them maybe trying to push Shayna up to the main roster maybe soon.
Yeah, that's
You know
what
what I
I
mean? So what's the
please.
point of putting the belt on her?
Please
They're
let
just
that
going to ship
happen.
her off to the main roster soon.
You want to talk about evolution in athleticism? 4 genuine UFC mixed martial artists entering the women's division is going to be insane.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I mean,
The Alicia Foxes of the world will be a foregone conclusion.
So for Kara, do you go for somebody who has like a strong style Japanese wrestler, or do you go for somebody with the martial arts background?
I don't know the story.
Okay,
I would have to know the
just
story behind
just their backgrounds though.
Well,
Like,
the
who
story,
would you want?
the story between Sane and Baszler is they were the finalists of last year's Mae Young Classic.
Okay.
They've been competing. It's been a competitive feud. It goes back and forth. Shayna would go on to become champion first. Kyrie went out with an injury during that time. When she came back, it reignited the feud. They're just trying to compete at this point to see who their better wrestler really is. Kyrie and Shayna so far, Kyrie won the belt from Shayna, so this is the return match from that.
Okay.
So that's what that setup is. But essentially, it's not really a crazy storyline. It's just two competitors just basically beating the shit out of each other, which I love because when it comes to women, there usually has to be something stupid involved with stories where it's just like, she stole my man or something like this. Is two athletes, two really good athletes who just want to beat the snot out of each other.
I think she's going to retain.
Yeah.
I think she's going to retain.
Yeah, changing the NXT title on a WWE pay-per-view would be crazy, but I think that's a retaining
I
too.
think she's going to retain.
I think so.
I think this feud continues until she gets called up. I don't think she's gonna get called up until this thing is over.
Yeah, they might, and then that's a good point. Maybe they'll have it kind of hot potato between them a little bit until they're ready to call her up. Because then if Kyrie retains, then it's like the feud should be over if she beats her twice. But
Shayna
she hasn't beaten her at all, has she?
No, Shayna beaten who? Kyrie?
Yeah, no.
Yes. I think there was like a fluke thing that took place. I can't remember the date exactly, but I think there was like a bullshit win that was just like, it wasn't like a title deal.
Because I'm wondering maybe they'll give her the win because she hasn't really beaten her yet. Because I know she lost to her in the Mae Young Classic. She lost the title to her. I don't know. It could go either way, honestly.
Baszler is such a Lesnar-like competitor. She looks like she will fuck you up.
Yeah.
All right.
Like, you just look at Shayna, like, especially those training videos where they have her, like, the performance in it, just choking people out for zero reason.
It's funny,
they
I
do this
saw
thing
her from a distance, and she's, like, not big. Like, she's
not
tall.
big, but she's ferocious.
Yeah.
There
Like,
was
I thought she was taller, but she's, like, not taller.
They
I was
literally...
like, oh, she's kind of little.
They literally do this thing on NXT where they show her coming like out of the locker room or whatever, like a towel around her neck, and she'll just be walking by and there'll be people training, and she's just like, "Hey, can I get in there for a second?" And she goes in and she chokes the person out and then she leaves.
Yeah,
like they've done it multiple times. She just comes in and she just chokes somebody out super fast and then just fucking leaves.
I do like that.
Yeah, she's just like,
I like that.
They have. There's not many women who are pushed. Like, there's been badass women, but never has the WWE like, she's a fucking crazy person. Like, that's what they're doing with Shayna. It's like, she's maniacal. She will kill you.
Yep.
I love it.
Right. Well, the next match is again another NXT, but this time it's the UK Women's Championship.
Yes.
And is also on the line between Rhea Ripley.
Rhea
Defends against a yet to be named opponent because the May Classic. Right? No, it's not against.
No, I don't know. They haven't said who the partner is.
They haven't said who the opponent is. They're saving that shit for last minute because they're still deciding themselves, to be honest with you. I think the leading candidate is Jeannie, the one who fought Toni Storm in the first round.
Yeah.
Is she ready to lose the title? Like, is there a storyline?
She just got it.
She just got it. She's probably going to retain.
Literally just got it like about a week or two ago.
Yeah.
They didn't even have.
I mean, she could, depending on who it is.
They're going for shock value, I guess. But I think basically the way that the Mae Young Classic thing went, Rhea Ripley changed her profile pics on all of her social media to a crying Tegan Knox. Did you see that?
Oh yeah.
On the Mae Young
Wow.
Classic, Rhea Ripley competed against Tegan Knox and she broke her other leg. She was kept out of the first tournament from her ACL from the left leg, and she tore the right one in the tournament. And the whole time, Rhea's trying to keep the character going. Yeah, she was trying to keep the character going, right, Rhea? Like, it's a really bad situation. And she does this really awesome heel thing at the end where she just kind of like laughs about it a little bit, which was kind of cool. But then she went the extra mile. All of her social media is her standing over Tegan while she cries.
Oh, wow.
All of her social media got transferred over to that picture. So I don't care who the opponent is. They're losing to Rhea Ripley on Sunday.
Because she's such a good heel.
Don't make her change her default pick again. She should do it every time she destroys somebody. She should just go on social media and change it. Her most recent opponent.
The third match, they turned into a tag team match. Originally it was supposed to be singles, but it's Trish Stratus and Lita tagging up against Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. So again,
those names I'm sure you know.
Do you go
All
with,
of them I know.
some people that you respected back in the day who may not have the same what's the word I'm looking for? The same quality of wrestling that they did back in the day.
You mean
do
like
they
10
still
years ago
remember?
when they were
yeah. Do they
retired?
still remember how to go?
No, they
Or do you
remember,
go
I'm
against
sure.
people who are still currently wrestling?
First of all, I like how low key Mickie James is not old all of a sudden.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's like she hasn't been around for a while.
Yeah, like she hasn't been. She
She's like
retired the two of them, and
I
now
remember
she's
her on the Indies back
I
in.
feel
yeah, Alex Lurie, right?
Yes.
Alexis Lurie,
I
yes.
feel like it's gonna be Alexa Bliss and Mickie James, and they're gonna do like a handshaking, like hugging thing in the center, like almost like they're passing the torch when really they're not passing the torch. It's kind of like a respecting. Like,
See,
thank
I
you,
don't.
thank you.
I
feel
think
like
it's
Trish
gonna
and
be.
Lita
Yeah, I
probably
think it's
gonna-
gonna go the other way. I think
That
so,
Lita-
and I think it's
Lita
gonna
and
be
Trish?
them
Put
giving
them
the
over-
respect
yeah.
to the people that came before. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, my first thought was Trish and Lita would probably win.
It's kind of a nonsense match, right? Like, are they doing anything with
It
like,
is. Well,
Trish and-
Bliss is still being positioned as the top female on Raw,
Okay.
and since they had to do something with the Bellas and Rousey, they're holding off because Ronda beat Alexa for the belt. They're going to do the return match at the whatever next pay-per-view. I don't know if it's Crown Jewel or Survivor Series, but so they have
no,
Alexa.
it's not Crown Jewel because the women are not
Yeah,
allowed.
I just realized what I just said. Yeah, but so they have kind of Alexa kind of like in this holding pattern right now until the Bella thing kind of goes away again, and then they're gonna plug her back in. So that's not a bad holding pattern to be in there
Yeah.
with a bunch of Hall of Famers and soon to be Hall of Famer Mickie James.
I was
but
kind of looking for them forward to them having the singles match though.
I'm pretty sure Trish and Lita were not looking forward to
yeah,
singles
maybe
match.
probably.
Lita said
heard
that she
different
didn't know-
things, but they
Yeah.
said the plan always was a tag match. They just announced it as a singles just to get attention. I read
Yeah.
that. I don't know if that's true or not, but
I don't know, but I know that Lita has gone on record. She was asked about how she found out about Evolution, and she was like, "I was watching TV and they said it."
oh, okay.
That's literally how that went. They were like, they sent her some email or whatever. Hey, would you like to be a part of the show? And she's like, cool, yeah. And recently with WWE, she's been commentating. She's been interviewing.
Yeah, she's been doing.
So they're
other
like,
stuff.
yeah, you want to be a part of the show? And she's like, cool. And like the next week, they're like, yeah, Lita's facing Mickie James. And they're like, okay.
Oh, okay.
So she's like, oh yeah, I heard that on TV. I called Mickie. I was like, is that for real? And they're like, and Mickie was like, I guess so.
Yeah.
So like, cool. So what do you want to do?
Yeah.
It's like,
I feel like
So,
this
yeah, I
match
don't know.
has a lot of, like, in my head, has a lot of ways to disappoint.
oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh
That,
yeah, a lot to
unfortunately-
lose for a lot of them because even if Alexa doesn't come out looking good in this, it's a
Yeah.
problem.
For
Yeah.
me, this is going to be my botch count match where
Yeah.
I count
Oh,
the
man.
botches.
That's what I was thinking
You
in
know
my
what I mean?
head.
And it's, and
Like,
it's
what
going
is
to be
Lita gonna
sad.
do?
And then the crowd probably is going to chant, "You still got it." When I'm thinking in my head, no, they don't. I counted up to 5 botches already.
Well,
They
you're gonna
still
be in
don't
the
got
building.
it.
Okay,
You
in the
know,
Royal
like,
You're going to
Rumble,
be in the
who
building,
knows?
so I'm
Yeah.
holding you to that. As soon as they start chanting, I want you to get it. They go, no, they don't. They don't have it anymore.
Do they still have that like 5-move mindset, like how they did
Yeah.
kind of back in the day? That's
Yep.
gonna
Yeah.
stink.
We'll see.
Formula's all
I
the
hope
same.
It's going to be a very slow
The only-
satisfaction.
There's a match coming up she's going to talk about that I think will break the five move thing.
Okay, so the next one is the women's battle royal.
Yes.
So it has Tamina. It has the
Both
new,
Iconics.
new group, the Iconics, which came from NXT. Ember Moon, who came from NXT. Alicia Fox.
You're naming all main
Nia
roster people.
Jax, Dana. I said where they came from. Like they recently just got brought up. Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke, Asuka, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, Carmella, Lana, Naomi, and the return appearance by Tori Wilson, Michelle McCool, Alundra Blaze, Ivory, Kelly, Maria Kanellis, Molly Holly. So I feel like it's the diva age versus
They snuck them all in.
Yeah,
who
they
we
sure
think are the
did.
divas now.
There's no
because
all that
NXT
Twitter
women
activity,
in it
they all got
announced,
in.
right?
Yeah.
There's no current NXT women
In
it,
the
right?
Battle Royal, no.
yeah.
Okay.
Because the NXT women are all in singles matches.
Yeah, right.
They brought all the
So-
wrestlers in and put them in wrestling matches. All the entertainers are in the Battle Royal.
You think an old head is gonna win this battle royal? Or
Oh, the stipulation for the match.
They get a
The
future
winner gets a
title
future
shot.
title shot.
So I'm
yeah.
going with Asuka.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going with
I'm so angry she's in this match.
you're going with Tamina?
I tell you what, though, that's going to be the
Nice.
greatest Battle Royal of all time. Watch. I'm going to
I'm
do all kinds of
going-
crazy shit.
Yep.
It's like, so who's taking Powerbomb off the top rope?
And the person's going against who again? The person's going against who again?
What
the stipulation. Whoever
Oh.
wins is going
They should
against.
get a future women's title
Fu-
match.
yeah,
they
future
didn't say
women's
They didn't
title.
say
They
whether
didn't- they didn't
a
specify
SmackDown or a
which
Raw.
one.
Okay, so
They didn't specify.
I guess you get it of your whatever brand.
Now
you're
I'm
on.
pushing for Alundra Blaze even more.
I know. I would love.
I want Blaze.
For it.
I want Blaze and Rousey next week on
Yes.
Raw. Tate fist, no
or
rules.
even Alundra and Charlotte.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Oh, well, they would wrestle. I want to see Ronda and Blaze fist fight.
Yeah, that's true.
And
give both
call
those matches.
Gina Caruso in here to referee that. And tape her shit up too. I want to see a fight.
Yes.
you know what? I might see.
Won't be no hair pulling in there.
I might
Everybody's
see
gonna have the
them doing
braid.
something stupid with Carmella since she's always like.
Nah, she's babyface now. They're not gonna do anything stupid with her.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like anybody. I don't want anybody to win.
I don't like
Yes.
anybody.
Quite
I hate them
frankly.
all equally.
Yeah, I hate them all.
Yeah, I feel
mean,
like Asuka's the only one I
I
like
like
that is
Asuka.
believable.
I like Ember
I don't think
Moon.
they're old people.
I don't like anybody else there.
Ember Moon's good. Yeah.
So
No.
I mean,
But I don't see her in the title picture.
I think you just need the final four, right? Asuka, Moon, maybe Carmella, because they're trying to do something with her. Nia Jax, maybe. I think it's going to be even, like a Raw SmackDown deal. Those
Yeah.
old heads are going to be out of there, lickety split.
Yep.
and then we have the.
I
I
want to
want
see
to
the
let
return
Blaze
of
in the
Kelly.
final four. If she doesn't win,
Yeah.
get her at least in the final four.
Kelly's gotta be
let her strike
Santino'd.
with Asuka a little bit. They can fight.
Then we have the finals of the Mae Young Classic. So we have
This is the reason
Toni
I bought the
Storm.
ticket.
Yep.
This
versus
match.
or battles Io Shirai.
There you go.
Yep.
I thought she was going to struggle with that one. Io Shirai.
No. I
yes.
got my parentheses letting me know how to say that name.
Skills.
Okay.
She typed
But
it like you say it. It was
again,
dope.
like because it's on the network
Yeah.
and it's not on Raw and SmackDown where you have to tune in. I mean, some people still got their DVR, but not a lot of people have the network still.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Yeah, people are canceling it now due to Saudi Arabia.
But
Yeah.
again, do you go for a UK favorite, or do you go for again a Japanese wrestler?
Have you guys had a chance to see the Mae Young Classic yet?
I haven't seen a lot of the
That's
new one.
f-
I know
ab-
what's happening, but
That's absolutely fine. That's why I asked that, because there's a lot of people listening to this show who still haven't seen the first one. Guys,
Yeah.
watch the fucking tournament.
It's
the tournament
really-
is
the first one was
dope.
really good. Yeah.
It's
It's
good.
awesome.
I mean,
Yeah.
you are going to see a lot of shit in the first rounds, but once you get
Yeah.
rid of
Yeah,
the
the
shit,
first
Even the
round
shitty
was kinda
ones,
A
though.
on the
starts
first
getting
one,
better
yeah.
and better and better.
And I'm still
I
upset
mean,
that Miko did not make it into the finals, because Miko versus Io would have been the greatest wrestling match ever performed
Yeah.
in the
and
history
your girl,
of mankind.
Mercedes Martinez. I mean,
She
she has
stole
been in
the
Classic
show.
twice last year and this year. This year, she went through 2 rounds instead of.
She lost in
being
the
a
same round
first
both years, quarterfinals. Yeah,
It was the quarterfinal, really?
Yeah, she didn't make it to
But
the
still,
semis,
like, I mean, but she's still
so
being,
good.
she's still awesome. She's still respected, even though she's not, on camera.
I hope she gets a coach
She's
gig at
very
least.
important backstage.
If they're not going to book her as a performer, at least a coach gig, because she deserves to be in there.
Yeah.
A lot of the
agreed.
chicks that are in this tournament, she trained.
Yeah. True.
She's losing the students on this thing, for Christ's
Yeah.
sake. And that's not good.
Yeah.
Oh, man, but she's there.
I'm
But
gonna
Toni
go-
Storm.
I'm gonna go Toni Storm.
Toni Storm.
Yeah, I'm a
Io
huge
She
Shirai.
Toni
used to be
Storm. I love
Vince's,
her, so-
favorite.
I'm only going Toni Storm because Kyrie won last year. I don't want this to be an all Japanese tournament.
Yeah.
Because there was the criticism when Kyrie won the belt. They're like, oh, here we go, another Japanese person. And it's like, come on, man, give him a minute. You know how many Japanese stars have been successful in WWE?
Yeah.
Shinsuke and Asuka. That's it. That's
Yeah.
how big as the list is.
Yeah.
And don't say Hakushi, because that doesn't count. He was awesome, but
What
he
about
wasn't a
Funaki?
success.
Indeed.
Well, he's got long-term success. He
Yeah.
broke the mold. That one.
Yeah.
The next one is Ronda Rousey defends the WWE Raw Women's Championship against Nikki Bella. Again, I hope this is a 1-2 squash. I hope it's just a quick in and out.
It won't
This
be.
doesn't even
they're gonna
deserve
get
to
The
be
Raw
a
women's
match.
No, but that would.
And they chose the less talented Bella.
No, they didn't.
No. Are you kidding me?
lately,
Botch
Brie has
mode
been-
Brie against Ronda
Botch
Rousey?
mode Brie, I love
Son.
that.
Can you imagine?
Let that trend. I'm gonna put
Botch
hashtag
mode Brie.
Botch mode
I
Brie.
still, yeah.
I
No,
defended-
Nikki's definitely the better one of the two, by far.
You said Nikki?
Yeah.
She was so
She's
good
got
before
better
the baby.
psychology. I think
Yeah.
Brie tries to be her husband way too much.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. She
No.
does all the movesets and everything like
I
that.
was we all knew the match was gonna happen, but I wish they would have let it go one more week before they had. It was literally they attacked Ronda, and then an hour later, hey, she's getting a title shot. It's like she got a title shot because she attacked her from behind. Like
Yeah,
she
they
went the next
how'd they
week.
decide between the two Bellas?
Huh?
Because they both attacked Ronda.
Yeah, it was weird.
I thought
how
for a
they-
split second, no lie, I thought it was going to be a triple threat or something.
Yeah.
Or like a handicap or something. Like
Exactly. It was just
both
weird. Like they
Bellas.
attacked him, and then an hour later, Nikki versus Ronda for the title. And I'm like, there was literally no.
And then the whole thing changed. It shifted. All of a sudden,
Because they
now
don't
Ronda,
trust Brie no more.
Ronda
'Cause
hated
she's
Nikki.
botch mode.
Yeah,
They
but
both attacked her simultaneously. No one did more damage than the other.
Yeah.
But the next week on Raw, Nikki's a bitch.
yeah.
Like Brie was just standing there. like Nikki's shooting back at Ronda, Ronda's shooting at Nikki, and Brie's just
I heard that they have the whole internet feud thing.
Oh, they're
going
doing the
on.
Twitter
they were
feud
doing on
thing. Yeah.
I'm kind of
and
over
stuff.
that. I
But that's a new indie thing too.
I know, I'm just over
It's-
it. Like, I don't even know the full story, and someone was telling me, one my friends was telling me the other day that this is what they're doing. I was just like, someone else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I don't know why they didn't just do Alexa here. I don't know why they're in a holding pattern at all with her because all reports are saying Alexa's going back into the title picture. All right, so what's the problem?
Yeah. I guess they want maybe Trish wanted them. I don't know. I heard something about that. I thought Trish wanted to wrestle Alexa.
No,
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm going Ronda.
Yeah, I think Ronda's retaining.
She's retaining.
All right.
It can't be Nikki.
All right. So
can't- Yeah.
It just can't be. Now notice the order because go ahead, go to the next one.
the next one is Becky Lynch. Okay, defends the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair in a last man standing match.
Last woman, I wrote that wrong. Sorry.
My bad. Let's start changing man to woman now, or should
That's
we,
what they're calling
or
it.
should we say lasting person?
Listen, remember
Standing
the
match
W.
Both
now.
women. We can
Remember
say
Because
last
everybody's
woman
trying to
said-
remain gender
Yeah.
neutral
The
now.
WWE
women,
calls
so-
it a lumberjill match now when it's doing
Yeah.
the women outside. So you got to
So.
keep to the. They're assuming genders left and right is the WWE.
Well, they're
So.
both women, so
This
you go
should be
with
the
them.
main event of that entire card. I don't want to hear anything else. That's
I'm
got
hoping
the biggest
so.
feud. It's
It's
got
probably
the,
not going to be, but I'm hoping for it.
Did you hear the line that she did on Edge?
Yeah.
On a oh my god.
That
So
I
good.
even heard that.
You heard that one too? Oh my god.
Well, let's say the line.
The line. Oh, Edge had asked her if she even likes herself. Like, if you look in the mirror, do you like yourself? She's like, no, I don't like myself. I love myself. Now get out of the champ's ring. Don't
And
hurt
don't
your
injure
neck
your
on the
neck
way
on the
through
way
those
out.
ropes. Like, oh shit!
that's my
You
girl,
know that
Becky.
the gif with all the guys when they overreact.
Yeah.
That's what happened in my head when she said
I
it.
just don't want her to lose and cry again in the middle of the ring. Like,
Who's that, Charlotte?
no, Becky.
No, come on, Charlotte.
I remember the
that
last time
Flair
she
blood.
lost-
They cry all the time.
I don't want her to cry. I just want her to lose and then just see rage in her eyes.
We want Becky to lose.
Well,
You want Becky to lose
yeah,
the
I think
title of
Becky's gonna
Evolution?
lose.
I think Becky's
But
gonna-
Oh man, you think Becky's gonna lose
I don't
too?
know.
No, I think she's going to keep it.
Oh, you think she's gonna keep it?
Yeah.
I think she's gonna
I
keep
read
it
something
too.
like, again, here reading stuff that she either has a jaw injury or something like that, or
Yeah, she's
something.
injured.
Who?
Becky,
Becky's hurt,
and
yeah.
if it's as bad as they think, they're gonna have to take because she's gonna need to take time
So
off.
look
or
at that. I didn't
something.
even
So
hear
it's like,
that.
That could be a big factor.
But
Yeah.
still, I want Becky Lynch to lose, and I want just rage to go
Yeah,
on her face.
that's
Like,
what I-
all you see is
she-
rage. No tears, no fucking tears on this All Women's show. All I want to see is rage. Let her take her break and let her come back with for vengeance, and just let
Yeah.
her be a dick.
Is this the last
Okay,
title match,
the entire
though?
time.
This is the last match where this guy.
Then
We think
a
it's
title
gonna
has to change, though.
right.
Right?
yeah, I'm kind of thinking
it's
Charlotte's
the
gonna
big
win, especially
women's-
if she.
It's the big women's pay-per-view.
There has to be one
Yeah,
title
she's gotta
change.
get it then.
Yeah,
'Cause we
Becky
can't
Lynch
have it
is
on
getting
Nikki.
it.
I think it might be Becky now.
I'm
I
not-
don't know. I mean, I'm happy. I'm
Because
just
I'm looking at
forward
the
to
other
match,
title
honestly.
matches, and I'm like, it would be suicide to change them at this point. But now I look at Becky and Charlotte, I'm like, hot potato could happen
Yeah.
just for the
There's
sake.
got to be some big moment with the
Upset.
title.
Before-
yeah,
before
like
we-
Yeah.
Why not last,
Oh my
right?
God. Have
Plus,
those,
we're
like-
forgetting last woman standing. So this is going to be all
That's a
over the
big
fucking
match.
Yeah,
place.
they're gonna kill each other.
I'm assuming they might have made that stipulation after they found out about the injury, because no DQ, you're able to hide a lot more. You're not,
Yeah.
You're not
that's a
relying.
good
You're not
point.
relying on being in the ring and grappling now.
Yeah.
There won't be many headlocks. If it's a jaw injury, you want to stay away from headlocks
Yeah.
and forearm shots. So like feeding the back the whole match.
Yeah.
Stuff to the back, into the turnbuckle.
And especially like the
that-
last match that they had where they she like speared her in the thing, and they've been building up stuff like that. So
You know what's funny?
You know what?
Karen-
No, I'm gonna interrupt you.
Yeah.
I could just see like the following week they do an edge show again. He's like, well, now I'm gonna ask you again. Do you love yourself? And her just getting so embarrassed, like,
Do you love yourself now, there, Lassie?
exactly. Make fun of her. Let her, because you just
You're good.
you just
No, you're not good. You turned it off. Boom, there it is.
like you just disrespected the Edge, and now Edge is gonna disrespect you back. Like, haha.
They should do a cutscene of
you
Edge
had
laughing
you had
at
a
him.
big ego, and now look at you. You know, bye bye.
Matt,
Nah,
do
nah,
you-
nah, nah.
you
Don't let
think
the door
Edge-
hit you on the way out.
You
type
think
of
Edge
thing.
went to the back and looked at Beth like, why don't you come out there and say nothing? She over here ragging on me. You know I can't touch her.
Yeah, right.
It's 2018. We can't put women through tables anymore. Go over there and say something to her.
Exactly.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so that's now that WWE has had its first ever women's pay-per-view. Where do you see women's wrestling going from here?
I think you already touched on that, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
What you want to do with
Like I hope to see like the pay-per-views become more
even.
Even, yeah.
Yeah.
That was your
I
focus.
think-
Yeah, and I think if it's successful, like we were saying, if they're going to keep going back to Saudi Arabia, they might get their own pay-per-view around the same time if this one is a success. But yeah, hopefully it'll become a little more even.
What's that, Kara?
I think that when we touched on the whole Saudi Arabia thing, I think that would be the ultimate, goal. Like, and the whole thing is, if women could wrestle there, get more freedom there, and if it were to come from something like wrestling related, I think that would be an ultimate thing. But I mean, I think as long as this doesn't do anything to hurt the progress that they've been going through, then it's still a success.
I know one other speculated thing is to eventually have a women's main event WrestleMania. So maybe that might be a goal too. I know, especially with Ronda being here. That
She's got the best shot.
yeah.
This is why I keep telling people online, why shit on Ronda? Get behind this, because
And she's
Ronda's
really good in
mindset
ring,
is
like-
she wants to bring the whole division with her.
Yeah.
I could see if she was a woman who came in from the UFC and she's just like, all right, guys, look, I'm here, but I'm not really here. I'm trying to make business.
Yeah.
She loves everybody in that locker room.
Exactly.
She goes out of
She
her
loves
way.
wrestling.
She
You
brings
know
she brings the women with them to award shows and the Hall of
Yeah.
Fame. She's trying to get this company as much of a rub as possible.
Yeah, like
and
she loves. It's
and
not like Lesnar who's there for the paycheck. She
Yeah.
actually loves
She's
it and wants to
literally-
wrestle.
yes.
And she's done a lot better than I thought she would in the beginning. Because it's hard to transition, but
Absolutely, yeah.
she's doing really well. So I'm all for it.
Absolutely. I hope for normalization. That's what
Yeah.
I hope. I hope we get to a point where the random wrestling fan, whether it be male or female, will look at a wrestling show that has 9 matches on it, where 4 are women or 5 are guys, or 5 are women and 4 are guys, and go, oh, pretty nice card. And they
Yeah.
just go about their business.
Yeah.
It's not a whole wall like what we get from Evolution. It's an all women's pay-per-view. Obviously, it's not going to sell out. Why is that even the issue? It's either a good wrestling show or it's not a good wrestling show.
Yeah.
We just went over 7 matches, and I'm excited about at least 5 of them.
Yeah.
Which is more than I can say for Hell in a Cell that just happened a few weeks ago when I was excited about 0 of them.
Yeah. Right.
So, and I have a ticket to this show, so I'm glad I'm excited. So,
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming and being a part of this all women. Well, not all women, but
sorry.
all women's
okay.
round
sorry,
table.
there was a cancellation. I got into the
Co-hosted
thing.
by the original host, Mr. Orsini.
Yes. I have one question for Ariela and one question for Kara before we leave out of here.
Yes.
That's part of the closeout.
Okay.
Ariela,
Uh-oh.
Capital Wrestling Women's Champion. When will we see you in action next coming up? Where can they catch you? When's the next Capital show?
Next Capital show is November 17th in Hoboken, New Jersey.
November
17th.
17th.
Yes.
I just missed the live Hoboken show because I was doing my 1 year anniversary, so I didn't get a chance to do it. Kara, I know that you are doing a documentary for
Yes.
PWA. When can we look forward to this? What's happening with that?
At the moment, we're putting a bunch of videos together from, we're asking you for a video. A bunch of our guys are doing videos, and we're going to take matches and put that all together as like a compilation of, from the beginning, from the 2003, 2004 era
The
up
growth.
into like last year, 2017. So that's in the works, and also Pete Von Schmidt is writing a book too, which will also be like from the beginning, from his perspective. Everything is. From his perspective, everything from the beginning to when it ended. And it's kind of cool. He has me editing it for him. But like I'm literally editing sentence structure, exclamation mark, period, this, like that. But there's so much of it that's written as him. And it's not grammatically correct at all, but I can't change it.
Okay,
Because
there you
it's
go.
like
'Cause
him. It's like
him.
him speaking.
From the heart.
Yeah, it's like he's talking to you. So it's like it's very interesting.
So I have to be very careful how I word my my video. Then
No.
when I start
We
talking.
want everybody to be honest and open and everything like that. But
I'm going to speak in bullet points. Good place, welcoming attitude, wonderful environment, and just smile all the way through.
we wanted to show like everybody that, you know, everybody's perspective of PWA, because everybody had a different perspective, but we try to make it as much of a family as we could environment. We want to see like how it came, everybody to see how it came about. And the book, I know he's hoping for the beginning of next year, and then the video for a few months after that.
Nice.
So thank you guys for coming, and thank you guys for downloading this episode here. So thank you for listening, thank you for downloading, thank you for sharing, and of course, thank you for enjoying. I hope you guys are enjoying this episode. I know that I am, but I just want to take this minute to remind you guys that as much as you enjoy listening to me on the show, you can also see me on the YouTube channel that I have, AJ Orsini 96 host. You can check out my channel and see actual videos. There's some audio clips, you know, exclusive content that didn't make the episodes that I put onto the YouTube channel, but videos of me ring announcing, calling matches, anything, you know, interviews with some of the biggest stars in the business today that you may not know that I've worked with. I've got all the video evidence there on the YouTube channel, so go check that out. Once again, /AJ Orsini 96 host at YouTube.
At my house, listen to my daddy so. Orsini is mine.